Good evening, everyone. We welcome you for today's ISTD Friday Forum. And we have Dr. Mulchand Sen, sir, founder and CEO, J Career Academy, Bardoli, slide number of ISTD Surat chapter as well. So we welcome you, sir, and handing over to you for the session on communication skills for teachers. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I request you people to please switch on your video if possible so that we can make this session interactive one. And in between also we can solve your queries or doubts. So if possible, please switch on your video. Yeah, communication skills for teachers. Very basic skill, the necessity of the era is communication skills. Many a times, we being a teacher, we think that we already are into this profession and we know how to communicate. We are actually teachers and we teach very well. So we don't doubt ourselves. But a good teacher is always a good learner. So yes, if you attend this session, you might get at least one learning which will be very beneficial for you in your profession. So that's the reason we have considered this topic, which is communication skills for teachers. Why it is important? Because the role of a teacher is to communicate with students, and that is throughout their lifespan. And if we do not understand the importance of communication, obviously somewhere or other, we fail in this teaching profession. That's why this topic is very important, which is known as communication skills for teachers. Now, I was working as a professor in one of the universities, Ukatarsaria University, in Department of Management for a couple of years. I spent almost a decade there, and I was very much interested to do survey and to observe the scenario which is going on. And there are certain facts and figures in front of you, which says that why it is important for teachers. The reason is this. If we look at this scenario in the education sector, you will come to know this point that 80% of engineers are not fit for jobs, says surveys. That is Business Times 2019 data. The data will be either of 2019 or 22 because of this COVID period. The survey for 2021 will not be found. 97% of engineers in India can't speak English. Less than 20% are employable for software job. That is a survey done by Employment Track 2022. Over half of Indian students will not have skills for 21st century jobs. It is warning given by UNICEF Business Insider 2019. So now why this thing is happening? Actually, there are two things. One is known as technical skill and the other one is known as soft skills. In schools and colleges, we used to teach our students in terms of technical skills, which in most of the colleges and universities nowadays are changing the trend. They are not even able to get pure technical skills because they are having, bookish skills. Whatever is given in the book is being reproduced to students. I'm not generalizing again. I'm not being stereotyped, but yeah, we have to accept this bitter fact. So at the same time, we forgot to train them on soft skills, skills like communication skills like leadership skills, skills like team building skills. So somewhere or other, they fail to represent themselves in the corporate world. And that's the reason this is the scenario which is going on. And that I can surely say that one of the reasons why I left my academic job and I started my own venture. This venture's objective is to help students at a minimum fees. And in some areas, I'm doing counseling for free of cost. I'm helping students with placement free of cost. I'm helping them to reach to their career dream of studying abroad at zero consultancy fee and minimum coaching charges. So that's what I'm doing because I did a lot of research on this and then I thought that let me do something which can help the society. So let's proceed with the topic today. And we have I don't know how many participants we have, but it's about introduction. But let's proceed further. rather than having introduction of each participant. So first of all, I salute all the teachers who are making the career of youth, career of students, career of this nation. So communication is actually what I think I will be saying, and what I exactly say is all about communication. So whenever a teacher or a student, see, like teaching is your job, you are doing teaching, but communication is something different. It is about sharing your ideas, your thoughts with the other people. So whenever we think we want to communicate something, we have many things to say, but when actually we have to deliver, we have very less to deliver. Why this happens? Because of anxiety and other reasons. So ultimately, we are the shaper of our own career. We students, we teachers, everyone. So what basically communication is? So communication is something, see, I won't talk about, those books definition or theoretical aspect. I'll talk very basic things on practical grounds. Transmission of a message from a sender to a receiver in an understandable manner. That is communication. So what exactly communication is? Communication is when we transmit a message to our students, because this is the topic for teacher. So when we say something, when we transmit something, when we transfer our knowledge, information to students, one most important thing that we have to understand, and that is understandable manner. We have to make it as simple as possible. Because when we talk about class, in class, there are many students and their level of intelligence is different. In that case, it is teacher's responsibility to make the topic very easy to understand by everyone. So we have to ensure this. The communication process is a guide towards realizing effective communication. Effective communication leads to understanding. Now, very basic model that I have to talk about, many of you might have gone through it, but I will again talk about practical aspects. Sender sends message, it's received by receiver, and there is a channel. Everybody knows that. But the most important thing that we have to talk about is that feedback. See, I'm saying something, whether you have understood it in the same manner or not, how will I come to know? When I ask for your feedback. So if you reply me and if you tell me the message that you understood, I will cross-check with the message that I sent. If it matches, then I'll surely say that yes, the communication is effective. But if I share some message, if I say something, and if you are not able to get in exact manner, then obviously there is some communication gap. And why gap is created? There are two reasons. Number one is encoding and decoding. The message, the manner in which I code, if audience is not able to decode it, there will be communication gap. And the another reason is environment or noise. If there is a disturbance, a lot of disturbance, obviously the message is going to be distorted. So to cut it short, there are many reasons why communication fails. Inadequate information, if information is overloaded, if the quality of information is poor, if the timing is poor, if it is not right time, lack of feedback, as I told you, problems with the channels. If channel is distorting, then also there will be a problem. Incompetent communication. The person who is not able to competent enough, if he communicates, obviously it is going to fail. Effective goal setting. Without goal, if we are communicating, communication anxiety, many a times if the crowd is more and then there is anxiety created and you might forget something. And cultural barriers as well. We have to understand cultural barriers. There are two types of communication, spoken words as well as non-verbal. Now, this is something very interesting I would like to highlight over here. The elements of personal communication. The communication that we have, actually 7% of effectiveness is of spoken words. So whatever words we speak, it is having 7% effectiveness. 30% weightage is of voice or tone. That means our vocal part. Vocal part means you have to raise your voice, you have to make it louder. Sometimes it has to be slower. So that is known as vocal part. 38% weightage is of vocal part, and 55% weightage is on your body language, is on your non-verbal communication. So many a times we have to even teach to students that only just by speaking words, it's not enough. You have to have voice, you have to have vocal, you have to have tone, you have to have body language in whatever you communicate. So say for example, hello everyone, my name is Mulchand Singh. Today I'm going to speak on this topic and these and that. So that's a very passive communication. That's not an effective communication. So in order to make your communication effective, you have to use your vocal, you have to use your body language, which is very expressive. So in that case, we can make our communication very effective. So if anybody knows, please reply on chat box. I called my friend and I asked what he's doing. And he said, I'm working on aquathermal treatment of ceramics, aluminum, and steel under a constrained environment. Now, my simple question is, can you tell me what that friend was doing? Can you please reply on chat? Any wild guess? I called my friend and I asked what he is doing, and he said, I'm working on aquathermal treatment of ceramic, aluminum, and steel under a constrained environment. What kind of job he was doing, what he was doing actually. You can switch on your mic and even you can reply. Okay, again read this. Aquathermal treatment of ceramic, aluminum, and steel under a constrained environment. What does it mean? Actually, he was washing utensils under constrained environment. Means the guy was married and his wife was watching him, and he was washing the utensils. Bartan manj raha tha ultimately. So like what I want to say is jargon. You should not use jargon which is not understood by your target audience. So we have to make the communication very simpler one. So this is about verbal. When I say this, yeah, the murder of English. When we communicate, we have to have command over language. Both of you stand together separately. Will you hang the calendar or else I'll hang myself? Give me a blue pen of any color. Pick up the paper and fall in the dustbin. Why are you looking at the monkeys outside when I am inside? All of you stand in a straight circle. I have two daughters, both are girls. Open the window, let air force come in. The principal is revolving in the corridor. So this is murder of English. Communication is an art. You have to have command over language, which is very important. If I talk about, you see these leave applications from corporate world, and employees, since I have to go to my village to shell my land along with my wife, please sanction me 1 week leave. This is again murder of English in the corporate world. Now, when we talk about, so what I said is verbal, words, less jargons, more simple message. That is very important. Now, vocal is all about your pitch, your voice. Sometimes you have to, make your voice louder. Sometimes you have to make your voice slower. Sometimes you have to increase the speed. Sometimes you have to decrease the pitch. So that's all about vocal. When you talk about non-verbal, there are many things, including body movement, posture, tone, facial expression, eyes, gestures, sign and signals, tangible symbols, picture boards, technical or voice output, vocalization, gestures, illustrations, emotion states. Gestures means the way, the movement of your body parts, that is gestures. Personal space, there are 4 space: intimate, personal, work, and public. Touch, handshake, that is also non-verbal communication. Your voice, the environment, which will help you to reduce your noise. Your clothing, jewelry, perfume, beauty aids, that is also part of your communication. Your dressing, your formal dressing, informal dressing, casual dressing, that also communicates something to the other person. So this is very important, and this summarizes the communication part. That is communication. If I summarize the session that we have gone through, very important thing is importance of feedback in clarity of communication, effectiveness of communication. So you must have feedback whenever you communicate something to other party. Number two is communication is not just a simple made of words. It is made up of three parts: verbal, vocal, and non-verbal. These three important parts make the communication effective one. If I have to say something, what is this? You might say, yes, it is Nike. The Nike, now, actually, we have identified with Nike, but then just by drawing a correct symbol doesn't mean Nike. Nike is not, NKIE. There are duplicate sandals as well. But still, we consider this symbol as Nike symbol. Why? Because it is signage that they have used. It is the communication that they have made. Now, when I do like this, what do you mean by? Let's now, the last point, last topic that I wanted to tell you is universality of communication, communication across culture. When we do like this, what does it mean to you? It means to you, okay, something like that in an Indian culture. But yes, when we are doing communication across culture, we have to take a lot of care, because in Europe and USA, this means okay. In Japan, this means money. In Germany, this is offensive gesture. In New Zealand, it is cheap way of saying okay. In Australia, that means zero. And in Turkey, that means you are homosexual. So different culture, different country have different meaning. When we say thumbs up, it is okay. In most of the American and European culture, it is okay or good according to plan. But in Islamic and Asian countries, it is rude. Thumbs up sign is rude and offensive. Thumbs down sign is an indication of bad or failed. This is a rude hand gesture and an arrogant way to indicate failure that we have to understand. If we check about these faces and which person is the angriest one? Now, again, we can't say who is the angriest one. It depends on cultural differences in different countries. So we can't exactly say that who is the most angriest one. Now, even in emotion, we can have differences that I would like to tell you over here. On screen, you can see the smiley, okay? This is smiley. When I draw this, this is smiley. But in Japan, they have this type of smiley having eyes differences, eyebrow differences. Why it is so? The reason behind this is Japanese gives a lot of importance to eye contact. While communicating, they give a lot of central importance to eye contact, and that's why their smiley is different than other smileys. So lastly, I'd like to say that don't work hard, work intelligently. So whenever we have to communicate to students or to anybody, we have to plan it properly and then we have to execute it. And I request all of you to please, if you want to ensure that your communication is really a successful one, effective one or not, then you have to ask questions. The simplest technique to get the feedback is ask questions to your students and then know what they actually know. So you have to spend at least 5 minutes at the end of each and every lecture in order to get the feedback and in order to get understand what they have actually understood. And always summarize your session or always summarize your lecture or period so that they have clear-cut idea what they have learned today. And then obviously you can ask them questions in order to get feedback, and you just cross-check whether they have understood it in proper manner or exactly the same message that you want to deliver or not. We have only half an hour time. Next time, whenever permits and we have more audience, we will definitely go for activity. And I can prove in very simple and entertaining activity that even we believe that our communication is effective. No, there are chances of gap. There are chances of misunderstanding. So always try to get feedback in order to clarify your message and ensure that your communication is the effective one. So I have been given 25 minutes, total 30 minutes. Let's reserve this 5 minutes for question answer. Thank you very much, ISTD Anand, for providing me this opportunity to interact with the group. So now floor is yours. You can switch on your video and mic and you can ask questions if you want to ask.
Thank you, sir. All participants, if you want to interact, sir is here, please.
Yes, ma'am. Deepa Mishra, ma'am.
Yeah. Hello. Hi. Good evening, sir, and thank you so much for the session. I think it was very wonderfully put across in the time duration that has been shared. Um, I just want to ask one question here because I believe that we as teachers or facilitators, we need to become a brand in ourselves. And there is something called as like signature communication. If you can throw some light on that, it would be of great help for everyone, I guess.
For ma'am?
Signature communication.
Signature communication. I won't be able to throw light on this because this is a completely different topic of signature communication. So obviously I'll get back to you on this because to be very honest, I can't throw light on this more. But yeah, my friend is there, so I'll get back to you on this, ma'am, surely.
Okay.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yogesh sir, please.
Yes.
Yogesh Pota sir, you want to ask something? You had just raised the hand. Or any other participant, if you want to share your feedback also, you are welcome to share it.
Hello. Hello.
Raju sir, please.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, so actually I am on the way, but you said about Pota sir. So Yogesh Pota sir is a very senior trainer. So I personally appreciate the effort of sir also, Mulchand sir also, and Yogesh Pota sir. Welcome to ISTD. We are really having a privilege to be with us. So Pota sir, please give your remarks, sir. Pota sir is a very senior trainer of JCI also, and the Lions Quest program, sir, conducted hundreds of programs. Yeah, Pota sir.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
हाँ, yes, sir.
सबसे पहले तो डॉक्टर मूलचंद सेन को बहुत अभिनंदन विद इन शॉर्ट पीरियड में, और वैसे आपने वैसे 30 मिनट्स के अंदर बहुत बढ़िया वैसे सब डिटेल जो है वो दी है, और जो कम्युनिकेशन स्किल पे आपने वैसे 0 से लेके 100 तक सब इंफॉर्मेशन जो है प्रोवाइड किए, बहुत बढ़िया आपने किया है. कीप इट अप सर जी.
थैंक यू सर.
Any other participant? Raju sir will take your last views and then we'll proceed further. Okay, I think sir is traveling. So, Mulchand sir, thank you very much from ISTD Anand side, and I thank you all the participants also who joined us today. And as tradition goes, we will be sharing this video on our YouTube channel on ISTD Anand, and we'll see you again on the next Friday. You can use the same credentials to join this session, and we'll have different topic with the different speaker. And special thanks to Dr. Mulchand Sen sir for providing this wonderful information. As Yogesh sir rightly said, that communication from 0 to 100, everything has been covered in a stipulated given time. Thank you, sir, and thank you all the participants. See you next Friday. Thank you.